Hello, one and all. Welcome to the penultimate round of the oNiD Racing GT3 22 World Series. We're here down under in Bathurst. My name is Cammy Sturch, and we are joined today by a very special guest commentator. I'm pleased to introduce you all to Chris McCarthy. Chris, how are you?
That is too kind of an introduction. Yes, very good. Thank you for having me along. Really excited to have a look at this one. Bathurst always provides fantastic racing for GT cars. We are coming to the end of our season as well in this, so I think I've entered at a very good time. Bathurst penultimate round, 4 points between our top three. Yeah, I think I chose a good round to come along and join you guys.
You definitely did. And it's not just Chris and me, but we also have our, say, technical wizard who deals with all the replays and cameras and all the behind the scenes technical deets. It's Dan Hyde. Dan, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Very well. You're looking forward to today's race.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one from what I've seen in the driver chat on Discord.
I don't think there's going to be any shortage of contact with the barriers. The circuits up to this point have all been they've all allowed the drivers to have an off-track excursion and get away with it, but that's very not the case here, is it?
No, it's once you get up to the top of the mountain, those walls seem to close in on you a lot, and sometimes they can even jump out on you if you're not paying 100% attention.
Right now, Chris, you're say a bit more experienced in commentary than myself. I imagine you've been around the world a little bit. Have you ever been to Bathurst or Australia?
No, I haven't actually. I'd love to go though. It's a fascinating part of the world, and one of the reasons is because of this fantastic race circuit. I mean, when we travel around the world, it's why we want to do it. We want to go and see these amazing race circuits that exist around there. But yeah, getting down there is definitely on my list, and so is New Zealand. I used to love the Toyota Racing Series they did down. That's another bucket list feature for me. But yeah, look at this amazing view. That in person, I can imagine that is absolutely fantastic when you get to stand on the side of the circuit, and see these guys blasting around. I can't imagine there's much better views in motorsport than that.
No, absolutely not. The one sort of direct comparison I have, I did my license test at Brands Hatch. I have also
Nice.
driven Brands Hatch in virtual reality. Nothing prepared me, no amount of VR or sim racing prepared me for the drop out of Paddock Hill and the climb up to Druids. So I can only imagine the climb and the come down at Bathurst.
Something in itself, isn't it? I mean, that's a daunting prospect to actually go and walk this place. Yeah, when you go to Brands Hatch, and even when you're stood by the side of the circuit, it's only then that you can appreciate how steep that drop is. And if you're in a car, I can imagine that's even more exaggerated. But yeah, I don't think you can really appreciate this race circuit fully until you go there. But for now, while we're getting ready for those seasons to kick off, things like this is a great way for our drivers to practice, and also this esports is growing all the time, isn't it? And this is yet another fantastic championship that exists within esports with some very talented drivers in some really good GT cars. So I'm looking forward to this. You don't championships, you rarely have 4 points between the top three going into the last two rounds. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great one. The other interesting thing is obviously that we have GT cars always provide different manufacturers. It's going to be which car goes around here the best. I think that's always going to be the first question we ask. We've had a good variety of circuits. If only, Cammy, we got to go to do all these circuits in person. I mean, what a calendar that would have been. Kyle Army, Barcelona, Suzuka, Bathurst, Laguna Seca to end. I think that would have been great fun. But going back to my original point, it's which car's going to go best around this circuit, isn't it?
It is indeed. And if you heard me typing away just now, I had to just double check the elevation of Bathurst.
Go on.
571 feet
Wow. Okay.
from
Yeah,
start line to the peak and back down. And
that's
yes,
incredible.
the top 5 in the championship at the moment of the pro class, 2 are BMW M4s, 3 are McLaren 720Ss. So this is a championship dominated by McLarens and BMWs. Even in the silver class, 2 of the top 3s are BMW M4s, and in the AM class, there's a BMW M4 in second. So being a relatively new car in Assetto Corsa Competizione, it has been a favourite of people's. It seems like a settled, comfortable car for people to drive, and I wonder if Assetto Corsa Competizione's developers will look at making some changes or nerfing the car a little bit, as they say, and making tweaks to the balance of performance.
Yeah, I mean the BMW as well. That seems to have been a very popular car. Certainly with being doing Le Mans Virtual, I know it's a completely different platform, but that car was probably the strongest overall in that championship. But the one thing that catches my eye is that away from the BMW and the McLaren, the only other car in the Pro class to win, and indeed the silver class, is the Bentley. So how are we going to see that going round here? Alex Shahabi down 6th in the championship. Does this give him a chance to try and catch those 2 drivers, Jimmy Bancy and Christian Kelly, that lie ahead of him by around 15 points? Because we were talking pre-show, the Bentley could be the car to watch round here.
Yeah, the Bentley, it's a soft, comfortable car. It rides the curbs very well especially compared to the sort of lower slung McLaren 720S. But maybe this is just not a Bentley thing, but an Alex Shahabi thing. He's got his win, but he is down in 6th position in the championship. He needs to up his game in his consistency and keeping that car on the black stuff. He's had a couple of offs. He's had 1 or 2 spins, and he just needs to nip those problems in the bud if he wants to get himself into sort of the top 5, top 3 even of the championship by the end of the season.
Absolutely, but by the looks of it, it's he's got a chance to go out there and get a win here. I think the Bentley seems to, you can just look at it from Bathurst, lots of long straights, and certainly that car is quick in a straight line. It became my favourite car when I got to do GT Open a couple of years back. It is absolutely fantastic to listen to and see in person. So yeah, loving. It's great to see that the Bentleys are in here and doing well.
I mean, I wouldn't say it wins the prize for the best sounding car in this simulator. I think that prize goes to what Dixon Hurst is driving down in the AM class, which is the old Aston Martin Vantage V12. It's the
Wow.
only V12 running in this series. All the other Astons, of course, are the V8s, and that V12 has a nice shrill shriek to it.
I have to ask you. Of course, you've been doing the whole series of this. When you do a championship, you often see there are drivers that are coming up through the ranks as the season goes on and gaining confidence and looking to sneak a podium or a win to then set themselves up for the following season. Do we have any drivers which you'd say in the Pro, the Silver, or indeed the AM class, which are in that position where they're really starting to gain some confidence now and getting themselves in a position where, it was once top 10s, now it's, the goal could possibly be a podium?
Oh, tricky. Yes, yeah, I think there's a few. I think Wilbert van Oosenen in the silver class. I think if we had a John Watson prize, which would be the prize for making your way up through the field after starting right at the back, I think that would go to Ben Brown. He's been starting very far down in the grid a lot of these races, and he's a master of overtaking. I'd be surprised if he hasn't made the most overtakes of the entire season. As well as Peter Jelinek. But the trouble is he's made a lot of overtakes, but he's also conceded a lot of places as well. Sam Roughton down in the AM class, he has put in some impressive performances. And I mean, Alex Depper, we're going to see some of these drivers making their way up into the next. If they're with us for the next season, they'll be possibly progressing from Am into Silver, and James Suckling from Silver will, I would imagine, be progressing, sort of promoted into the pro class, because he has absolutely dominated the Silver class over Shane Watts, whose name we've not been able to spell correctly for the duration of this championship. I apologize, Sam. I imagine his name is Watts, as in electrical, but
Right.
we've put 3 T's in it for some reason, and it's just never been rectified.
I guess 3's better than 2, right? There we go.
It's
Why
just
not?
become a bit of a running gag. But yeah, and if Johnny Ashley, as we were saying pre-race, if Johnny Ashley can make it past the warm-up lap, get more than halfway through the race, we'll consider that a win in Johnny's book.
Perfect. Well, I tell you what, the pro class seems very close. As you said, James Suckling seems like he's dominating that Silver class, but the Am class doesn't look like it's over. Just glancing down, that looks like a one that we could see the championship lead possibly change hands here. It's in a position where that could happen.
Yeah, Alex Depper, Sam Rowton, they've been putting in some, especially in qualifying, they've been putting in some great performances. The qualification process it's a half an hour session broken into 3 10-minute blocks, or thirds, if you will. Alex Depper and Sam Rowton, they've usually cleared the rest of the Am field by half a second, and they're regularly mixing it in with the Silver class. The Ams go out first for 10 minutes, then the Silvers go out for 10 minutes, then the pros. And in that time, the weather can change, the track can rubber in, if it rains, it's a great dynamic weather system we've got with Assetto Corsa Competizione. So we have had occasions where those who got a lap in early have been able to start much higher than they would have otherwise, because rain's come along and just wrecked everyone else's laps. People who were waiting to sort of steal a pole at the last possible second, it sort of went wrong for them, I believe. Dan, you'll have to back me up on this. Was it Barcelona that we had some torrential downpours?
Yeah, it was Barcelona. So it started kind of mildly wet, got wetter, and then dried a bit. So we actually saw, if you remember, Sam Rowton of the Am class in P2, so on the front row of the grid.
He quickly fell away. He sort of, by the end of the second lap, I think he was down in maybe 8th or 9th position, but he was still leading the Am class. And we spoke to him in the post-race interviews, and he just said, I didn't want to get involved in the pro and Silver's battles. I'm getting winners' points regardless or not, if they go past. So, it's not my fight. It's not my race to have, which I thought was a very mature attitude to take, because especially in sim racing or gaming, people can be focused on the short-term goal of, I just want to make that place, rather than being able to take that step back and say, well, actually, they're in a different class. Do I need to fight them, or can I look after my car and tires?
I guess it's a long race to look after tires. Dan, what do you think on the tire situation around here?
So yeah, it is mainly dependent on your driving style since the big 1.8 update of ACC. So you've got to try and not to overheat the tyres, especially in this 45-minute format that we do, where it would be a great penalty for you to take a fresh set of tyres in your pit stop, because you'd lose 30 seconds.
Oh, I can tell you stories about that. I had to fill in for a driver in another series with the same team Dan drives for, and they plonked me in a Lamborghini Huracan, and it's a car I hadn't even driven before. So I had a couple of hours practice, got in 50 laps around Imola, and I'm reasonably comfortable. I sat happily in the midfield, which I thought was great, because there was even a Fordzilla driver in the series still, I think, and they were right at the front. They lapped me, actually, which that's why I'm not with Fordzilla anymore, obviously. And yeah, in the last 10 minutes of the race, my tires began to overheat. That led to a spin. The tires are even hotter now, and it was just, a self-fulfilling prophecy. It got worse and worse. You know, you spin, makes tires hot, you spin even more. And I was lucky to escape with, I think I finished 12th or 13th overall in that race. So that is going to be a struggle that all the drivers are going to have today. They don't have the space to have a spin as well. If they have a spin, that it's going to be race ending.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is probably one of the most unforgiving circuits in the world, possibly. It's there you can see when they're climbing uphill. That's, I mean, even here, when they're coming around this left-hander, you're straight into a gravel trap, and then through the S's, if you go off there, there's nowhere to go off. If you make a mistake, you're in the wall. So, and then it takes you a long, long time to get back to this section and then into the pits. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see everyone make it home in one piece. I think this is this is going to be a race of patience. I think you just got to get settled into it. You can't win it on that first lap, but yeah, you can certainly lose it. So I think we'll see a patient approach, perhaps taken from drivers here, and moves have to be made at the right time and in the right place. So it's not a place where you can just take a lunge down the inside and hope for the best. I think you have to be very careful in the places where you make your moves.
Yeah, I was racing in a different series. We weren't using Assetto Corsa, we were using R Factor 2. And it was a very special occasion for me because Jenson Button was on the grid. Team
Oh, wow.
Rocket Esports was one of the teams competing alongside Team Fordzilla and others. But Jenson Button was on the grid, and I had qualified 4 places behind him, which was maybe a tenth, 2/10 of a second. So I was very eager to, catch him up. But at the chase, all I did was caught the curb. I took a little bit too much curb. It unsettled the car and spun me round, and that was it. I had dropped from 10th place down to 28th.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
that's the only place you can have a spin and get away with it, with all the grass and gravel there, as you can see on screen now. But painful memories for me, looking at Bathurst again after that. Coming back to where I messed it up with Jenson Button.
Ah, maybe you get another chance. That's the great thing about esports.
Yeah.
Right now is the big names are not only racing in it but also creating teams in it as well, which is fantastic to see. I mean, me and Dan were working on the IndyCar Pro Challenge, where they had pretty much the whole grid racing each other as a warm up to their season. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. But I think there is so much good talent buried in esports, and it's championships like this where they have a chance to show that. And I think that's why it's really good to be particularly a guest here for this round, because there's a huge amount of talent here. And if a lot of these drivers had the budgets that some of the professionals did when they started, then who knows, maybe some of them would actually be racing around Bathurst at the 12 hours. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. I think we're going to get some good overtaking throughout it, hopefully, and a good championship fight as well.
Yeah, as you were making the point about esports, racing esports is unique in the esports world because the skills you develop in sim racing are directly transferable. No amount of playing FIFA on your joypad makes you a better footballer in the real world, or League of Legends, whatever the real world equivalent of that would be. But no, where you have drivers out there now, like Jimmy Broadbent, who obviously are very popular, needs no introduction to people, went from sim racing to competing for Praga in the Britcar series. James Baldwin, who raced for Jenson Button's Team Rocket in the British GT in a McLaren GT3 car. So it makes you there must be so much hidden talent, so many hidden gems in esports that just need the support, just need the if they can get enough practice in, be able to have equipment that helps them to be competitive. Because whilst racing esport is certainly accessible compared to motorsport in general, it's still at least £500 for a halfway decent steering wheel and pedal set. It's still £200 for the cheapest fold-out racing seat to mount that steering wheel and pedal set on. And then you're going to have to spend about £1,000 on a computer that will run these simulations properly at 60 frames a second or so. So no doubt there are drivers, especially those in the pro class, that I would go, yeah, put them in a real car. They will impress. But I'm just hearing from Dan now that we can go over to essentially, would we call it Q1? Well, the qualifying for the AM cars. They should be heading out on track any minute now. So hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, I'm Cammy Sturch. I'm here with Chris McCarthy, and we're just 4 minutes into the first qualifying session in the AM class. Chris, first impressions? I mean, you've only seen the car for 5 seconds, but I mean, these drivers are also coming up with their own livery designs as well, I might add. They are custom liveries that they're running. They come up with their own setups. It's all generally, for each team, sort of a one-man or one-woman show.
It looks great, doesn't it? Assetto Corsa provides, the graphics we're seeing. I've got to say a big shout out to everyone that's getting this broadcast possible, including yourself, Cammy. It's great for the drivers to have that promotion of themselves. But yeah, going back to it, the liveries always look great. I think Sam Roughton's first car that we're having a look at, it looks good. But yeah, not only 10 minutes, haven't they? The AM drivers, that's all they have for their session. There is Alex Depper as well. So I guess we've just seen our 2 championship rivals. But yeah, so far it's looking good, and it's great to be here.
So last week, as you may all remember, we were at Alderton Park. Very different circuit to Bathurst. Very short circuit as well. It quickly clogged up with cars, but we only have 12 AM drivers. Everyone should be able to get enough space to sort of have a clear lap to themselves, really. I mean, Bathurst is not a short track. At what is it? It's about 3.5, 4 miles long. So, although we've got 2 cars already who are side by side trying to catch a sneaky toe.
Yeah, that's always the tactic, isn't it? Some drivers, I think, prefer their own space, and others like to have that target to follow, which they can use for a tow. But sometimes drivers just like having that target to chase. I mean, I remember when I raced in karts, that was something I liked, but some other drivers just want to get their own space and get on with it, don't they? But yeah, this looks like Dixonhurst is taking the tactic of giving himself someone to try and chase down as they just get the tyres up to temperature and get ready for their next flying lap.
Yeah, he's behind Jacques Morel, but I think it's costing him a little bit of time, although he would have backed off this lap anyway. He's almost a second down on his best. It's Alex Depper who's going to be making moves up the... Well, no, he's 2 seconds off Dixonhurst at the moment, but only 6 tenths up on his best at the moment. So he's just coming around to the last corner now. 23, Murray's corner, and we'll see where that puts him. Green sectors all over the place, but he has only done 1 flying lap at the moment. So he stays in second place. Yeah, yep. So I just had to sort of remind myself whether the green sort of timings were on his best or compared to pole position.
So
sorry.
I was going to say, how many laps will they get? They're split up into 10 minutes, correct? So how long will they get? Are we getting towards 2 more laps for these guys, or is this going to be their last ones?
I suppose they'll have an out lap and they'll maybe get 4 laps if they're very quick and get over the line. If they've started their lap before the 10 minutes is over, they can finish their lap, so they might eke out a 4th lap. But yeah, very different situation to what we had in Alton Park, where people could go back to the pits, make a little change, a little tweak here and there, but they really don't have time for it here, and it's just a very quick sort of sudden death shootout almost for qualifying. The tactic, I imagine, will just be put in a calm, safe banker lap, just that gets you somewhere on the grid, and then you can sort of relax in the fact that, right, I'm on the grid now, I'm not starting at the back, now it's time to hammer it and see what I can really do, and if I hit the wall, then I've always got my backup time. As we see Sam Roughton really getting close to the walls. Yellow sector first, but second and third sector are green, so he's going to be moving up the field. No surprises there, though, for Sam.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously trying to chase down Alex Stepper, isn't he, in the championship? They're just together, but it's a fantastic lap Dixon Hurst is put in. But that's one of the most challenging things you mentioned there about running close to the wall. That's the hardest part about this circuit is probably qualifying, because you push an inch too much, you're in the wall, but then you push an inch too less, and it could lose you pole position.
Yeah, and with real motorsports, every driver has the same viewpoint. They're all looking from inside their cars. In Assetto Corsa Competizione, they can be using the nose cam, they can be using one of 2 or 3 cockpit cams. I'm sure there's a mad driver out there even using a chase cam, but also these drivers, they may have 1 monitor, they might have 3 monitors, they may even be using sort of a HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift virtual reality headset. So how close the wall is might seem very different from one driver to another's certain viewpoints.
Yeah, that's got to be something that they're just going to have to practice flying laps, I imagine, leading up to this. But on board here with Sam Roughton, Cammy, I don't know how much experience you have driving around this circuit, but you might be able to talk us around it if we stay on board with him.
Yeah, so Sam Roughton's actually just coming up to the S's, I believe. Yeah, that's it. He's coming up to Skyline, and what he's going to be, as the car's jumping and bouncing over these bumps, there's going to be a lot of micro corrections, a lot of just tweaking on the steering wheel, just to keep the car under check, to keep the car underneath him, because these cars, they're not like Formula One. They don't have downforce in that respect. They're lighter than your road car equivalent, but they're still heavy beasts. They've still got, big bums and big engines that just want to swing with oversteer and fling you into a wall. When it's almost like when they say about fighter jets, the best fighter jets are the ones that are inherently unstable, and the fastest cars and the fastest drivers are the ones that will have their car set up to like borderline control. If you recall Senna, he'd dance his car on the edge on the limit of traction.
Well, it's fascinating watching them come down those S's. It's I think once you get that right, it's like you're on rails, isn't it? Going down there, it all just flows very nicely. But that is Sam Roughton pulling up. Is that the end of the session? I think it might be for AM drivers.
You'll see on the map of the Bathurst circuit on the bottom right a stream of dots making their way out of the pit lane, as the AM class will be coming into the pits now. So yeah, it looked like Sam Roughton 4th place. He was 3rd and then was quickly pipped by Alex Depper, his championship rival. So he was pipped right at the end there on the last lap. And now, if you thought those drivers were on the edge and they can't possibly go quicker because they were really on the limit, now you're going to see the silver drivers who may go an entire second quicker, and in racing, a second is an eternity. Formula One spends millions eradicating just half a second's deficit to another team.
I must go back to that AM class and give a shout out to Graham Jackson. It looked like he put it on the front row for the AM drivers as the sole Ferrari out there. So that's great for him, but that must also be a positive for the likes of Chris Martin in the pro class. He's got to be someone that sees that as, oh, the Ferrari's gone well in the AM classes, must give me a good chance. But either way, that's a really good performance from Graham Jackson to go second in class, considering he's down in 9th in the championship.
And this is why we love motorsport, isn't it? It's especially with series like this where, there is no teams aren't the best because they spent the most. It's where anything can happen. And, that's why we love Le Mans and GT3 racing, because anything can happen and you get these great underdog performances as well, where a driver you maybe hadn't heard of or hadn't seen getting the camera time is suddenly punching above their weight. And, it's, I guess, like a little town beating a major club in the FA Cup. That's why we love sports and that's why we do it. Very
good analogy, yeah. Definitely. He's been sort of the Boreham Wood there, but James Suckling we have a look at now. So this is a guy that's almost unbeaten in the silver class, 3 out of 4 so far. The other going to Wilbert van Oosman. And James Suckling, you'd have to say anything. Oh, he's just punted someone into the wall there, actually. I don't think he meant it. He's going to pull over straight away. So who was that? Is that Louis Figueroa that he caught by? I think it looked accidental to me coming through 8 and 9. But James Suckling, I think anything other than pole here is surely going to be a disappointment.
You say that, but with the point deficit that Shane Watts has to James Suckling can, if he's not super comfortable around Bathurst, he can afford to sort of back off a little bit. He has that buffer in terms of, of a 34 points in front of Shane. So it does give him an opportunity to be able to relax. He hasn't got to go balls to the wall, as it were, at Bathurst. Sorry, just following Johnny Ashley now.
Yeah, well, we said we were going to look at him, weren't we? So here we go, Cammy.
And thank you, Hydeveen203. They've gifted 1 sub to viewers, so thank you very much. We're following Johnny Ashley as he's coming down the mountain now. He'll be coming into the chase. And this will still be his outlap at the moment. We get funny numbers on screen when it's an outlap. So I think he's still got to start, or he's had his lap time deleted, but I don't think that's the case because Chris, you may see on screen it says something like plus 886 seconds.
Right.
That's effectively, it does this strange thing where it's added the time he was sitting in the pits onto his lap. No, there we go. He's gone up into 9th position, only 2 seconds off Dixon Hurst. So this is impressive. The AM drivers are still holding on to the front row. The front 3 places at the moment. Only Petr Jelinek in the silver class has managed to... And Rudolf Stein now moves up into 2nd place in one of the... Here we go, the big comfy BMW M4s.
Is that something that's happened before? We're seeing AM drivers out-qualifying or even considerably out-qualifying silver drivers?
It does, but I think not. We don't usually see it halfway through silver's qualifying process. By 5 minutes in, they've usually gotten their lap times in, and the AM drivers might be down to 4th, 5th, 6th.
Right.
So this is a real healthy mix at the moment.
It looks very good. I think we're just starting to see the silver drivers dominate the top 10 now, and we'll probably see that changing again very shortly. This looks like a good lap. I think, is it Dirk? Looks like he's probably the quickest on track at the moment, judging by those gaps. So, Cabby, I think we're about to see a very good time coming in here.
I think so. He's almost 2 seconds up. So, and that's an eternity in motorsport. And no surprises, he goes first by 0.8 of a second. But as great a lap as that was, I think he's going to be quickly replaced. We've got Rudolf Stein, who's over a second up. Ralph Vest, he stays in 8th position in the what I like to dub the sort of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sort of themed McLaren there. Derek Stack, 3rd place in the Vaseline, and I have to say it because it's the law, Rubbin Is Racing team. You'll see it's not Valvoline, it's Vaseline he's got on his car.
Right, okay.
Let's not ask how he secured that deal or why he wanted that sponsorship deal.
Yeah, we'll leave that one there.
We'll leave that one there. Rudolf Stein, he's again almost another second up, so he's really starting to make moves up the field, really getting comfortable as well. Because I think Bathurst is it's a bit of a Marmite track, would you say, Chris?
100%. Yeah, I'd say there's going to be drivers that absolutely hate this circuit, and this was the one they were dreading. This man included, right? I mean, he doesn't really know why he included it. So let's stay with him, because I don't know Johnny too well, but who knows? There's a chance, knowing that we're going to be on board with him, that he might bin it, and we'll have it all to watch on board. So Cabby, as we go on board with him, I'm going to leave this to you.
Well, I said Marmite track, but I suppose if we're in Australia, I should have said Vegemite track, really, shouldn't I? But see, I'm cultured. I know what the Australians like: Tim Tams and Vegemite. Yeah, we're following Johnny Ashley as he's just coming up to Skyline, and now's the downhill. It's almost like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca if you've never driven at Bathurst, except there's walls and they seem to get closer and closer to you each time. He got very close there. I'm not sure if the back end just swung out and gave the barrier a kiss and left a little sort of purple smudge.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So I would have said oversteer, but the back end didn't step out. It just looked like he turned too aggressively and turned into the inner wall. So because he absolutely flies over the curbs there, over Skyline. He misses the apex slightly, but tidies it up, working his way down to the dipper. Let's just see it now from this camera angle. Oh, yeah. So that's very unusual. Very unusual, because you wouldn't tighten your steering up. So there just might be one bit of geometry there that juts out a little bit that caught his car. And obviously real race drivers don't have to deal with netcode, which is what we refer to as when you get sort of microseconds of lag. And if the computer thinks your car is in a slightly different position, even if it's a matter of inches, you could clip on an invisible bit of geometry that's not really there, be it a wall or another car.
Yeah,
so,
it looked like to me like he just turned in too early. Let's see the difference. Gap left there by Julian Bell was a lot different to what we saw. I say a lot, we're talking inches, to what Johnny Ashley left. It looked, when we went on board, he looked very, very close to the wall. And I think he just tapped the wall with his front left corner. And that was it. That was all it took. Sent him straight into the wall. And that's his qualifying done, isn't it? Because we're at the end of the session for the silvers now in 2 seconds, I think. So Johnny's going to be no higher. Well, he's going to be 16th at best, but that's if all the pro drivers were to somehow go slower than 16th place. I don't think that's going to happen. So he could be starting way down the field.
Yeah, like last race, he may even opt to start from the pit lane just to make sure he stays out of those sort of mid-pack dramas at the first corner as well.
Wow, okay.
Being that far back, he may just cut his losses and think, well, if I'm going to start this far back, I'm going to do it with a clean bit of track in front of me and not get caught out by, we say they're not amateurs, but they are in the M class. I don't want to, he doesn't want to be caught up in amateur shenanigans. As we're following, there's a yellow flag out. So in sim racing, cars don't have to finish their lap to go back to the pits. They can just pull over and hit the escape key, which convenient, but doesn't look very realistic. So apologies for that.
Well, we got so caught up in giving Johnny Ashley's 15 seconds when he crashed that we completely overlooked the fact that James Suckling had gone onto the front row provisionally with Dirk.
But the last silver driver,
yes,
Rudolf Stein, has stolen provisional pole position with a 2-minute 3.125. And I think he was the last silver driver out on track. So
wow.
So only one green sector, otherwise it was purples across the board.
Wow. Yeah, good job one of us was paying attention. That looked like an absolutely cracking lap. Yeah, you know what it was?
a banger.
It's because this circuit's so long. I didn't forgot that people could have been still on their last laps. But yeah, I didn't think 8.5 minutes to go that we'd still see someone come across the line. But wow, timed it to perfection, and that will be 11th at worst.
Yeah, and well, say the top silver drivers can certainly mix it with the lower pro drivers. Some drivers are good at their hot laps. Some drivers will not be so hot on their hot laps, but will shine in the race. I was one of those drivers. I'm not so great at hot lapping on my own, but when it comes to racing, I can make an overtake like nobody else can. I went round the outside of Sarah Moore from W Series.
Ah, yeah.
Thank you, Oscar Sandberg, for following. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. God, I don't think Chris has ever had this many viewers. There's 42 people listening to you, Chris.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Thank you to everyone listening, though. It's I hope you're enjoying the coverage. It's great to be a part of it, and we're getting close to the race now. So yeah, don't go anywhere, because in about, what have we got, about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll have the green flag.
We will go racing. I'm just having a look through the chat. We've got one person, I think they're Australian, saying, "Hate Marmite, love Bathurst." Thank you, Crunk Chronic. Some of the usernames people come up with are great, aren't they? Some support for Johnny Ashley in there as well.
Well, he deserves some after the stick he got from us.
We say it with love. Oh, is somebody in the war, or have they just pulled off and given up on that lap as Alex Shahabi went past them?
It looked like the latter, yeah.
Looked like the latter, yeah. One thing I do, Assetto Corsa Competizione developers, if you're listening, please put the Macau circuit in the game.
That would be awesome. I mean, the Macau Grand Prix it's a shame that it hasn't happened because of COVID, but love the Macau Grand Prix. Really hope that it comes back. It's an absolutely cracking event.
Somebody might embarrass me now and say it's actually already in the game, Cammy. I'm 99.9% sure it's not in.
I've never seen an Assetto Corsa race with that in.
No, thank you, S2 Anders, for following as well. Sorry.
Perfect stuff. Well, this is the pro class is where we have the closest championship fight. So I guess this is going to be quite a big qualifying session, given it's the penultimate round between, particularly watching Martin Thorpe, Dylan Beeson, and Jonathan Seville.
Yeah.
If I pronounced any of those wrong, but yeah, that it's going to be those three, as well as overall pole, which could be one of those three, is going to be the main focus for this one.
And we saw how hard Rudolf Stein was trying, and he got his hot lap right at the end. And he's immediately pipped by more than a second by the pro drivers. And our provisional pole sitters of, try to find them, our AM drivers, Sam Ralston and Alex Depper, Graham Jackson, they're 3.5 seconds slower than the pro drivers. And I'm not saying this to put them down at all, but just the skill level of these pro drivers is on another level. These cars are never settled underneath them. They're always skittering and dancing away underneath them. And even, I'm a competent sim racer, but I'm not quite on that level. Not with Assetto Corsa anyway. iRacing maybe, not Assetto. What simulators have you tried, Chris?
Oh, that's a good question. I've tried RFAC. Actually, when we were doing Le Mans Virtual, Dan put me in Juan Pablo's sim, which he wasn't very happy about when he came and actually saw that I was sat in his rig. But it was great. So yeah, I've tried RFactor too, and yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's when you get in the rigs, you really appreciate the skill that these drivers have.
Yeah. So we've sort of glossed over it a little bit. Jonathan Seville is our provisional pole sitter at the moment. Christian Kelly second, Jimmy Mancy third, followed by Alex Shahabi and Martin Thorpe. Obviously, Martin Thorpe, Dylan Beeson, and Alex Shahabi are the only drivers in the pro category to win a race. Dylan Beeson has 2 wins to his name, and he is down in 6th place at the moment. But all the drivers seem to be doing another lap. They all seem to be going quicker. They've all got green tags by their name. Miles Dixon's going to be about 4 tenths up. Dylan Beeson's 3 tenths up. And look at from Jonathan Seville to Alex Shahabi. There's a sudden leap of a second. So I don't know what to say. They're just incredible. I didn't think there was that much speed to be had around this circuit.
Yeah, that's. I guess it's because of it's that middle section is second sector where you can gain a lot of time if you get it absolutely right, and I think that's what we've seen from Jonathan Seville and Christian Kelly, and we go back on board with Christian Kelly now as he makes his way down the Conrod Straight. He could be on for potential pole position. He only needs to find just over a tenth of a second to get himself onto the inside of the front row. But Jonathan Seville, this is really good. Third in the championship, the only one of those three yet to take a win. And so far he's looking good, but just looking down, Cammy, it looks like Jimmy Mancy could be on for provisional pole.
It's so hard to judge it and guess it because we can look at these numbers and go, yeah, they're 6 tenths up, but they only need to make the tiniest little of errors, just clip a wall like Johnny Ashley did, run a little bit wide, take the little grass a little bit, and it will ruin the entire lap. So it's this real fine juggling, balancing act of quick but safe. As we're following Martin Thorpe now I think I've said it every time, I think this car sort of has a Cadbury's caramel look to it with the sort of purple and gold livery that I really am a fan of. We're following him down the S's now into corners 17 and 18, the dipper. He hasn't clipped the inside. Well done, Martin. Now onto his strongest part of the circuit. It's the only part of the circuit he's been getting green sector time, sector 3, where it's just down to the raw power. It's more a traditional race circuit at this point. But this could move him up a couple of places. I think it will put him into 4th position ahead of Dylan Beeson. And Dylan Beeson is in the pits, so he won't be putting another time in. Quite a few drivers in the pits. It's only Jonathan Seville, Martin Thorpe, Dixon and Brown who are still on the track.
Yeah, this has been a strong end to the lap. I don't think Martin can go any quicker than 4th place, championship leader, of course, coming out the final corner, and he does indeed go to 4th place. But yeah, a lot of drivers, as you said there, Cabby, bailing out of that session earlier than I expected.
Yeah, and I expected the chap then to keep going because he's got another 40. He had another 40 seconds. Same with Dave Selecki. He can go for another lap. He's finished the line with 15 seconds to go. So if he thinks he can go a little bit quicker, he's he's pulling off. He's pulling off at Hell Corner, and he's down in 28th.
Yeah, we've still got dots going around the circuit, bottom right of screen. This is so. There's 3 cars still circulating.
Oh.
There we go.
We see it so often in the real world. It happens in the sim world as well. Just clipping a barrier and it fires you off into the opposite barrier.
Except it doesn't cost anything to fix it when you're doing it in esports. That's the good thing. So this looks like it's going to be our pole sitter, Jonathan Seville. I mean, what a time to go in and get yourself on pole when you've got your 2 championship rivals. Where were they? 4th and 5th. So Jonathan Seville, that gives him a chance to get an early break in this race, and if it goes well, if he wins the race, he'll be the championship leader.
Yeah, you say it doesn't cost anything. It costs them pride, and what price can you put on somebody's pride, really?
Very true. Very true.
But all of our drivers have been great sports. We haven't had anybody rage quitting, nobody sort of taking their anger out on the track and sort of doing any dirty tactics, dirty driving. There's been a lot of respect between all of these drivers, and I'd be proud to have any of these drivers in my esport team, and any esport team out there would be lucky to have them. Hopefully, I always say you can pick up these track experience days, can't you, as gifts for people for a couple of £100. It's actually cheaper to just apply for a racing license, I found out. So, I hope a lot of these drivers do give it a try in the real world, and it might open up some new doors for them as we watch Lasse Vimmen come. No, we don't. No. No, we don't. So we've got. Is that our mic's cut? Maybe not. Nope, sorry. We've got 2 minutes until the race starts. If you're watching in the chat, if you've got any questions for Chris, put them forward. We'll try to answer them, or Chris will answer them as best he can. If you've got any predictions, I've got a prediction that I think in the midfield there'll be a big pile up through the S's, but that's not really a psychic prediction.
I was going to say,
that's just odds-on favourite to happen. How about you, Chris?
Tough question. I mean, I think Jonathan Seville's got a chance to get a break here. And if I'm him, I'm looking at trying to get away quickly. It's hard to predict. I mean, also down the AM class are still impressed by Graham Jackson. So looking forward to seeing how he goes in this one. I'd just like to think we'll have a clean first lap and get settled into this race. But the odds of that, there are good chances that won't happen. I'm not saying someone's going to go out there and take people out. It's just gets very congested around this circuit.
Jonathan Seville will be wanting to repair the hurt from last week. Viewers may remember it was a very wet weather race at Alton Park, but it was changeable as well. And the Pulse Racing cars of Jonathan Seville and his teammate, Dan will remind me of their name in a moment. Was it Rudolf Stein or Dirk Bofer? But they gambled on dry tyres, but the rain came back. And what looked like a certain win for Jonathan Seville became a sort of a damage control 5th place. So he's going to be, he'd like to put things right after that race, I think, as he leads the cars away for the formation lap.
There we go. Well,
Hello, welcome back, or welcome if you're just joining us. I'm Cammy Sturch. I'm here in the booth with Chris McCarthy. Chris, say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah,
no, just one hello. Just one hello.
This is going to be a good race.
Yeah, you're just joining us for the formation lap as you see 4 Red Bull liveried cars just making their way up the hill now. Jonathan Seville put it on pole position. He's leading the field. He's coming up to the S's and just starting his way down the hill as we follow a couple cars sort of morphing into one another. That'll be the giveaway that you're watching sim racing and not real racing. Johnny Ashley sort of getting very close and intimate there with the Bentley. During the formation lap, there is no collision detection. Everyone struggles to get into the right place with the little head-up display telling you where you should be and whether you should be in single file or, 2 abreast. So Assetto, of course, is very kind and sort of lets cars morph in and out of each other, rather than the iRacing tactic of what happened to us once was picking up damage on the warm-up lap. For the Le Mans 24-hour, that was.
Oh, perfect.
That was, a little bit of internet lag, a bump, and we lost 15 miles an hour down the Mulsanne Straight.
Awesome.
What a way to start Le Mans.
What a way to start.
So yeah, like Le Mans, this, it's a marathon. It's a shorter marathon, but it's not a sprint. It can't be won at the first corner, as we see Luis Figueroa Sr. maybe starting from the pit lane. I don't know if he's had any internet troubles or just fancies starting at the back and keeping out of everybody's way and letting them have their own crashes and dramas. We see some human-like statues on top of the pit lane there. They're not moving very much, but never mind. Yeah, I nearly called you Johnny there, Chris.
No worries. There's one on screen, so you could have been forgiven for it very easy.
Have you been told what oNiD Racing stands for, Chris?
No.
I didn't think they'd tell you. No, it's "Oh no, I died."
Oh.
Because I think the group who came up with it used to do the first-person shooter games, Call of Duty, that sort of thing. They must not have been very good at it, but that somehow stuck and became oNiD Racing. I don't know if they still do the shooting luck, but hey ho, their cars are making their way down through the chase now. Corners 20, 21, and 22. The only part of the track that's like a conventional racetrack with grass and gravel, not scary barriers. As now on their head-up displays, it will tell them to move to double file or two abreast rather than single file as they prepare for the start, as Jonathan Seville is effectively now controlling the field. Chris, I'm going to leave it to you to take us through this green light.
Oh, okay. Here we go then. So Jonathan Seville and Christian Kelly on the front row, 45 minutes around Bathurst, penultimate round of the season. Let's hope we get a clean start as we come up towards the start-finish line, and the green flag has flown at Bathurst. We are away for round number 5. Almost contact going in towards turn number 1 there, but a very clean start from all of our top 10. Up in the background, 1 or 2 running wide, but Christian Kelly, a very good start from him in second place to hold position despite starting on the outside. But Jonathan Seville leading the way, third in what is a very close fight in the championship between himself, Dylan Beeson and Alex Shahabi, as they now come up towards turns 3 and 4 for the first time, Cammy.
Yeah, it looks like everybody, for the first time in the history of the own racing series of the GT3 2022 World Series, it looks like everyone's made it through corners 1 and 2. So we've had no spinners, no accidents. I saw a few cars put a couple of wheels on the grass and gravel, but other than that, a perfect getaway. And yep, Seville's already, the leaders have got that free air. They're putting sort of half a second out on each other now. So it's just a case will Seville push as hard as he can to grow that gap and sort of run the risk of minor, clipping a wall here and there? Or will he run a safe race and be happy to, I'll settle for second. It's, I'm more focused on next week's Laguna Seca double length race, double points.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be happy to have got through, I think, in any race, aren't you? Once you've seen yourself get through the first few corners, you immediately settle down into the race, and he's going to see in the background Jimmy Mancy just behind him there in the BMW. I think one thing is just going to be to try and hold on to Jonathan Seville. The pace he showed in qualifying is being reflected already on this opening lap. So I think the key will just be to stick with him and attack later in the race. But with Bathurst, it's a race of survival, isn't it, as well as a race in itself. So yeah, just keep yourself in the race, and places will come to you, I'm sure.
Oh yes, I don't envy Jonathan Seville's position at the moment, because you don't get any points for leading the first 44 minutes. You only get the points for leading when you finish go over the line on the final second of the race. And I'm a driver who likes to chase. He's going to be under pressure for the duration of the race, and somebody can just bide their time behind him and strike in the last lap. So you never know where you sit when you're leading the pack, I think.
Very good point. I mean, and Christian Kelly second last week, so he'll be desperate to get that win this week, which he and Jonathan Seville haven't had this year. But in the other classes, it looks like a very good start for Dirk Botha. Stein just behind him there, 8th and 9th overall. And Graham Jackson, we mentioned it before the race, going very well down in 18th place, leading the amateurs. 18th so far. I mean, 9th in the championship in class, but to be 18th overall, that is some start to the race, and there he is on green.
Yeah, this is clearly one of those, a Vegemite track for him, and he loves Vegemite. by that logic. But yeah, he obviously relishes these kind of conditions, this race, and they're not having to fight the elements this week. There's no rain. I mean, we're out in the middle of Australian desert. The weather report's telling us it's going to be sunny for the duration. The track conditions optimum. The track temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, air temperature of 29 Celsius. I suppose there's a little risk of tyres overheating if drivers sort of overexert themselves a little bit, push too hard. But other than that, I mean, the wind's 1 kilometre per hour, so they shouldn't feel it up on the hill at all. So, yeah, for those who love this race circuit, and we've our first bit of drama there from Roy and look like coming together there with the white Ferrari. That would have been the Ferrari was that Graham Jackson?
Not too sure. Let's
see.
I think this is going to tell us what happened here.
No, Petr Jelinek is in a green Ferrari. So the only other Ferrari that could have been
there you
Chris
go.
Martin. Oh dear.
Well, it all kicked off up ahead, and that was just simply nowhere to go. So who did we lose? We lost a couple of people. Well, we didn't lose anyone, but
Chris Martin.
Chris Martin's
Chris
gone
Martin
down.
in the white Ferrari. Petr Jelinek drives that Ferrari, the green one. So yeah, so we've got Chris Martin, not that one from Coldplay, but this one from Origin Racing. It looks like they've all been able to carry on though. Luckily, it happened at the chase where there was no walls. Oh, we've got the Lamborghini clipping the wall there. They got away with it though. The car just sort of hopped, skipped, and jumped a little bit as we're following Alex Parkin in the big, luxurious, comfy Bentley, working its way up the hill. But yeah, the classes are so like what was it last week? Adam D made a reference about we talked about the weight of the Titanic, and unlike on the Titanic, the classes are mixing.
Yeah, yes, they are. So white numbers are pro, silver is silver. Funny enough, and oh, there we go. What's happened there? We're going to have two drivers, one almost going into the wall.
I feel like that was Johnny Ashley.
Yeah. Well, let's find him. Dan will have we'll get on to Johnny Ashley for us, hopefully. There he is. Now, he did bin it last time we had him on screen. So whoever's in front of him should be very nervous right now.
Yeah, and the car in front of him, say, was involved in that pile up, but the spin that involved a few cars on the last lap at the chase. As Johnny Ashley's looking to make a move, a strong slipstream down here on the run down to the chase. He has a look going into the sort of the slight right-hand kink, but he thinks better of it. Is he going to? No, so he's just making himself a menace. You don't always have to go for a move. As you know, if you're moving out the slipstream and sort of feigning one way, feigning the other, you can be a distraction in the rearview mirror of the driver in front.
Yeah, well, we saw the driver in front go in the pits. I guess that was one of the cars involved in that first lap sort of pile up. I mean, with pit window isn't open yet, so yeah, I guess that was someone just going in to pick up some damage. But it's James Suckling, isn't it, who looks like the best of the rest in terms of classes so far. That's a good start for him. I mean, he's climbed his way up the order. He certainly wasn't leading that silver class last time I saw, so this is a good start to the race for him.
It is. He's got a 1.5 second. Well, that grew very quickly. He had half a second gap on Rudolf Stein, and then it suddenly became 1.5 seconds. So I don't know if Rudolf Stein was fighting a little bit with Viman in the silver class, number 55. We're following Martin Thorpe now of Thorpe Speed Racing. I wonder who he's named the team after, who's running in 6th position, following on the heels of Alex Shahabi, who's the only... Right, so Alex Shahabi in the Bentley is the only car in the top 12 that isn't a McLaren or a BMW.
Wow. Okay. So going along, so flying the flag then, and very much solo, Alex Shahabi.
Well, McLaren's are British as well.
True, true.
I nearly said said he's flying the flag too.
For the Bentleys, the Bentley flag, should we say? But Martin Thorpe behind. Is he going to be concerned here that the gaps are opening up very quickly ahead, aren't they? I mean, we're only, 3 laps or 4 laps in? And his gap to the leader has got to be coming towards 10 seconds.
Oh, and we've got a car sitting in a very dangerous position there, sitting half across the track, blocking. Oh, and there's a real
Yeah.
pile up. He must have just lost it, lost the back end coming down the hill, and he's doing the right thing. He's staying still, keeping the brake on.
Yeah.
Oh no, if we lost a Ferrari there that might have had a head-on collision and has some major damage. Now, this is a difficult place to turn around. Hats off to him. He's waited for the entire field to pass. He'll know where everybody is because he should have the map of the track on his on-screen GUI, and he's trying to make a 3-point turn. As it was Graham Jackson who must have had some horrific damage, enough to just sort of hit the escape key and quit out the race. We don't usually, we tend to frown on that sort of thing. I wonder if Dan has any more information for us on that.
At the moment, it looks like he's used the feature where he's just towed himself back to the pit, so he'll have to sit there for a few minutes in his pit box, wait for it to take the penalty, repair the car, and he should be able to go back out.
Thanks very much, Dan. Our Ted Kravitz down in the pit paddock. As Van Rooyen's got going again, he's not pitted, so whatever damage he picked up wasn't bad enough to need him to pit. Usually if it's that bad, the bonnet starts to, or the hood starts to lift up off the car. Peter Jelinek in the bright green Ferrari, running comfortably in 16th, being hounded by the V12 Aston Martin, I think, behind him. And it's good to see the V12 Aston Martin getting some love. It doesn't usually, I don't see it too far up the field usually, but it's a great looking, a great sounding car as well.
Yeah, I love the Aston, but this is not used in esports as much now. That's Miles Dixon. Let's find out what happened here then, Cammy. He's coming towards the chase. He's had an excursion off the circuit. Let's find out what happened.
Yeah, so he's following Christian Kelly here, I think. Or is that Ben Brown? Apologies, that could be, he's following Ben Brown down towards the chase. He's got a great slipstream. He probably, so I know exactly what happened there. As the track kinks to the right, he thinks, I'll just lazily lean out to the left to make the overtake. But Ben Brown had seen that, and he didn't expect Ben Brown to cover him off there. And it sort of made him do a quick react, where then the quick reaction movements that an F1 car could do, but will just get a tank slapper on in a GT3 car. And he's lucky to get away with that way he did. He's only lost a second and a half to Ben Brown, so he can sort of shake himself off and come back to that one and try again in a couple of laps' time.
Yeah, I say that there was a huge scare, wasn't it? But lucky to be going, and might try his move in a different place next time. But this is the second place driver in the silver class, coming under a lot of pressure from one of the pro drivers behind. In this situation, Cam, would you just let that pro driver go, or do you want to hold that place? I guess wait till you get onto Conrod Straight and then wave them through.
I would just wave them through. You run the risk of, if you're gonna try and, you'll lose time if you sit there trying to defend that position viciously. You'll lose time, and then the cars that you are competing against will start catching you both up. So you might as well just let them pass. And if they're in a higher class, they obviously know something you don't, and they're a little bit quicker. It's a great opportunity to get behind them, follow their line, see what they're doing differently to go a bit quicker. And it's a good opportunity to learn from them, or even just pick up a good slipstream down the Conrod Straight. As Van Rooyen keeping out of everybody's way as he gets his... Now, he didn't take his car back to the pits. He had the chance to, but he didn't. So I'm wondering if he's picked up more damage on that lap he did. And I'm wondering... Yeah, he is pitting. So for a moment, I thought he wasn't going to pit again. But yeah, he kept to the grass, kept out of everyone's way. He thought he had a car he could control, and maybe up at the top of the hill where it's, quick left, right, he suddenly found maybe, actually, this car's crabbing a little bit, or I'm not turning right as well as I thought I was, because the first corners of the race circuit are left-handers. So he might have realised, but whoa! David Oller, God, really, like a jackknifed into, how are he still going?
Well, we got Jim Allen into pit lane. Is that no, pit window isn't open. So that's another drive with damage. Hopefully Dan can show us exactly what happened there with the replay. I mean, we didn't really catch all of it. Sort of was to the left of screen. But as you said, here we go, Cammy.
So it
Let's
seems
see
a bit
what
of a
happened.
waste to pit now, because he could have stayed out on track for one more lap and the pit lane would have opened. So then he could have got it all done in one pit stop. So it seems a bit strange he pit now, knowing in 10 minutes he'll have to pit again. So I think he's got, because his car's already damaged, and he's just sort of lazily leaned off to the left. I thought he was going to make contact there as well. I think he's just got a very difficult car to control, and he's just trying to get back to the pits. It's, you know, easier to go on the grass and keep out of everyone's way. He joins to the left. He's keeping as out the way as he can and trying to stay predictable when cars are approaching. So unfortunate position for him to be in, where he feels the need, I better pit now rather than in one lap's time. But, you know, he did the best he could under the circumstances.
Yeah, I just wonder what the other instant was, because there certainly was another one. Was that Ola that was involved in the other one? Looked like it might have been him, but
I'm not sure. Yeah,
yeah, who knows? But
Dan, the man with the cam and the master plan, can show us. That
Yeah.
would be much obliged to Dan, as we follow Danny Medina in the AMG Mercedes in AM Club. Whoa, whoa, easy there, easy. It's like a fucking horse, you know. You just need to calm him down.
Well,
Pit open.
Here is David Ola. So it was down at the chase, and I think it was with that car behind as well, with Medina. That was the instant, but one of the AM drivers. So just a mistake probably that happened. But as you said, the pit window's open, and we've already got one of the lead silver cars going in.
So Dirk Botha is the first driver. Dave Selecki is the second. So it could be, and now they're all streaming in. So it's not the halfway point of the race yet, but it could be that they feel you know, if you're sitting behind a car and you can't overtake them, why not pit now, get some clean air, get some fast laps in, and maybe, you know, they'll come out of their pit stop behind you.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? It's almost, if you're in a battle with someone, if they don't come in, you can go in, and then you sort of almost do the opposite to what they do, just to try and get the overlap on them. So, but this is Miles Dixon we look back at now, who looks like he's being hunted down here by Brown behind.
Yeah, Ben Brown, a master of overtaking. He's made so many overtakes in this series, and besides being a great driver, he does a lot of livery work, logo work, livery work. So no doubt he put together the oNiD Racing livery. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he is a livery designer, and a very talented one at that. A lot of sim drivers sort of become graphic designers as well, because they have to do their own liveries, their own logos. You sort of become it's like self-employed, but you're paying for the privilege of, you know, it's a job you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it, isn't there? When we did Le Mans Virtual, I hate to mention it again, but there was people were getting paid to design liveries for, you know, some of these big teams that wanted to exactly replicate their livery, and they were reaching out to, you know, some drivers who were livery designers as well to make sure their car looked absolutely perfect. So yeah, there's definitely an art to it, and it's good to see that you know, some guys have been able to get something out of it.
Yeah, I know. I think it's on Twitter, Chris Racer Designs. I think he started off just doing sort of 3D models and hypothetical what-if liveries, and now he does them for Alpine F1, who are...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's amazing how these designers, just putting their stuff out on Twitter, become livery. I mean, same for me. I've done design work, and I just put it out there, and, you know, people buy my prints. That's nice. But I'll be working with, if you've heard of the ERA Championship, which is a sort of electric racing car series that will be following the ETCR.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we'll get you along. We'll get you along.
Yeah, I did a couple of rounds of that last year, ETCR. Really cool championship, I have to say. So I'm sure that will be as well. And interesting format they had for it, actually.
Yeah, it's like a rallycross, isn't it? Sort of rallycross shootout.
you think when you watch it, I know we're going slightly off script here, but you think when you watch that ETCR that it's going to be very dull, but it is far from that as well. It is really, really good. So it's going to be back this year. So definitely worth a watch.
And viewers, despite what you may think about all these race cars on screen at the moment, they are all electric as well. There's no petrol being used. So technically they're electric race cars as well. So we're on topic.
Good point.
I mean, going off topic, look at the name of the team. Dixonhurst is racing for Flying Beavers Motorsport.
Only in esports.
Only in esports. But it's great. It doesn't maybe, esports don't take themselves quite as seriously. It's like in Formula One when sort of James Hunt came into it with I forget the name of the team, and everybody's going to scream at me, but they came into F1 and had a bit of fun with it. Red Bull at first were a bit of a fun team, took themselves less seriously.
Yeah.
And in esports you get a lot of that.
Yeah, I have to ask this question for you and Dan now. What's the best team name you've seen in esports?
I'm not allowed to say my own, am I?
You can say that if you want. You can say that. It's just
No, I won't say. Oh, I'll have to have a think on that. How about you, Dan?
I'm going to have to go for Derek Stack's team, as you can see on screen now.
Team Vaseline. Turgin is racing.
Wow. Okay.
I've offended the Americans.
Well, I'll tell you what. There was a good battle forming. What we were watching behind, actually, I think it was within the silver class, but I think we were about to see a position change there. But that's definitely. All right, here we go. This is what it was. So this is what, top 7 in silver class, Cammy?
Yeah, we were following William Black there, who is, I believe, getting married soon. A couple of weeks ago, his girlfriend was watching, or fiance was watching on the stream, sort of saying, "Don't crash." Well, just don't. And I was asking, "Are you genuinely into sim racing, or are you just being polite because your hubby, you seem to be hubby, is watching it?" And she's like,
Do you know what it is? It's because she doesn't want to hear about it later. Doesn't want to hear moaning about it.
That's it. I said, if he crashes out big time, we'll provide the footage and you can play it at the wedding.
So we must keep an eye on him now.
I think we should, yeah.
But here we go.
Yeah,
Johnny Ashley.
Johnny Ashley. The chat, Johnny crashing a wall. I don't believe you, said Bleach Kingsley. And then Bleach Kingsley said, well, Cammy, prediction came 100% true.
Yeah. Well, it's when we're watching him. That's when it all goes horribly wrong. So it looks like, what's this, Stein? This was the battle we were watching before we went to Team Vaseline.
Oh, there. Johnny Ashley's gone wide. And Rudolf Stein's... so Johnny Ashley's thought, well, I've gone wide, lost the place. I might as well dive into the pit lane. Rudolf Stein goes through and is followed... And Johnny Ashley's followed into the pits by William Black. Now, what some drivers have to remember, they have to make this pit stop. It will be on screen. You'll see on the driver ladder. You'll see that some have a little green tab and some have a little orange tab with a number 1. Green means they've made their pit stop. Orange means they still need to make their pit stop. And we had a race winner at Suzuka cross the line, only to be smacked with a 130-second time penalty because they'd forgotten to take their mandatory pit stop. Actually, the first 2 cars to cross the line. So they won the race and then immediately lost it. And I think that was how... I'm sure I thought it... Dan, I thought that was when Jonathan Zaville picked up a victory.
If I remember correctly, that was when Martin Thorpe got his win.
Thank you for correcting me. That's why we have you here. Well, apart from all the other stuff you're doing, and this stream wouldn't be possible. This stream wouldn't be possible without you. And if anybody out there needs computer stuff, sim racing rig stuff, virtual reality headset, maybe some more RAM for your computer, talk to Dan. Check out Kadan Computers. You can find them on Facebook and Twitter at Kadan Computers.
Yeah, Dan does a great job down with the team at Motorsport Games as well. Always hired in for their events. So yeah, he really does know what he's doing, definitely.
Really does. I don't go to anybody else now for my computer needs. In all seriousness, actually, I don't go to anybody else when I need anything that is, computer related. As with following Alex Parkin now, making I was going to
What
say
a
a neat
move.
overtake, but a great move there on Ola in the Mercedes. But that wasn't a place he's in the pro class, and he was making an overtake on an AM class. So that was more of probably a slight backmarker attitude to that. To get out of the way. I'm not in the race with you. Just out the way. As a Flying Beavers now come flying down the Conrod straight behind and this is a great livery, sort of the old 1980s Apple Mac vibe. If you can
Yeah.
spot on the Porsche 911 in front.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
They'll probably get a cease and desist from Apple, but it's better to do it and ask for forgiveness than to ask permission and be denied.
Who's on the front of the car? Who's the guy on the front of it? I think I saw a face on the bonnet.
Yeah, we said that last time, didn't we?
Am
And
I seeing things? Can we have a look at that car, Dan? I mean, who is that?
because
on the front?
I remember going, oh, is that Tupac? But I can't remember if I was right last time.
I mean, maybe someone in the comments knows. I don't know.
I think
don't
that is,
know.
or if we turn around and be like, no, it's, I don't know. They're so quick, and I think it's a black and white photo as well. It's not on that side of the car.
It's just kind of a camera where we can see it. Maybe in the pit lane.
It's somebody without hair. That's not narrowing it down.
He needs to go on the pits, so maybe we can pick that one up in the pits.
I get maybe. Yeah, not Steve Jobs. I mean, it would make sense if you've got Apple Mac.
It would. That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Maybe it is him.
Oh, but they're having a comfortable race at the moment in 16th, and they're running third in class. So they're not going to be bothered what we say about their livery or who it is on their car. They're running third, but they still need to make a pit stop actually. So yeah, and I think they're more than 40 seconds in front of the next AM class car, so they might get out in front. I'm not sure, but Derek Stack, Tuggin's Racing with Vaseline Racing is into the pits, and Julian Bell, Swede Speed Racing, is up into 10th place, but does need to make his mandatory pit stop. He's running second in the silver class there.
Yeah, we still need, what is it, the top 5? Are they all still required to come into the pits? So we haven't seen those guys come in. Is this the first of our stoppers? Jimmy Mancy, I think
he's getting annoyed now. I think he's being held, it looked like Julian Bell was leaving the door open for Mancy to go past, and then just had that door slammed in his face. And Jimmy Mancy will know on screen that Julian Bell is not pitted and is in a different category, different class to him. And the Porsche was able to make way for Julian Bell, but not for Jimmy Mancy. There, they back off on the brakes very quickly there, so as not to go side by side through the S's. Very sensible. But yeah, Julian Bell's 6th place. That's on borrowed time. But the cars in front also need to make their pit stops, so it's kind of a who will blink last. Nope.
There we go.
Sort of, as soon as the commentator says it, the commentator's wrong.
But Christian Kelly stayed out, so interesting then. So he's decided that when Seville's coming in, he's going to go for at least one more lap. And I think Martin Thorpe is going to decide to come in as well. So he's into the pits. Is Dixon in as well? Yes. So that's another one in. And Ben Brown has come in as well. So good chance we'll see Julian Bell come in. Jimmy Mancy, it's about where does he come out now? Does he come out in front of these guys or does he remain behind them?
I'm looking on the ladder at Alex Depper and hoping he remembers to pit because he's in the lead at the moment. He'll lose that lead in M class, but he's been having a good weekend here at Bathurst, and it'd be a shame for him to pick up a huge penalty for forgetting to pit, and he's only going to have he's only going to have one lap left to do it. There's 2 minutes remaining of the pit window. If you miss it, that's it. You're hit with a penalty at the end of the race. Even if you take the pit stop afterwards, it won't count. So then all you would have done is taken a pit stop and been hit with a 130-second penalty.
This is now Jimmy Mancy's being shown in 3rd place on the bottom right of screen, but this is a great battle, isn't it, going on here between him and Shahabi over the last spot on the podium. Although Christian Kelly's yet to come into the pits, but this is a great little fight here. Seville's well clear of this, so the Pro class has had a bit of a shake-up in the pit window there. But of course, we are still waiting for the leader to come in. But this is a great little battle going on between Mansi and Shahabi.
It really is, yeah. It's going to be a bit of a psychological battle as well, because Shahabi at the moment doesn't need to make any lunges to overtake, because, you know, the next car, Jonathan Seville, is like several seconds up the road still, but this is where you can just sit behind someone and just be a menace and just distract them a little bit with feigns to the left and feigns to the right, and just, you know, just distract them. Just all they have to do is miss their braking point once. That's all that has to happen. As Jonathan Seville's rounding the last corner now, will he come out? Will he pass Christian Kelly? Christian Kelly is in. I think he's in the pits, isn't he, Christian Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah, it just depends. There he are. He is still stationary in the pits. So Jonathan Seville goes through. He's got the fastest lap as well. He's just gone through. Christian Kelly's going to come out in second place, I think. I don't think Christian... No, so Jamie Mansi's coming across the line now. And Christian Kelly is already making his way out of corner 2 and up the hill.
So comfortable lead for Seville and a comfortable second for Christian Kelly there. So that is a full-on battle for third behind that. This pit window has not gone well for this man here, nor has this race. Martin thought, I mean, championship-wise, this is looking very, very bad for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and he went on the grass there a little bit. I don't know if he was texting whilst he was driving, but he certainly went on the grass. So blue flags are waving. These cars, they don't have to sort of leap out the way, but they do have to help facilitate a safe overtake. They shouldn't be blocking. They should not be defending, but they're so busy fighting with each other that they don't notice they don't notice him coming through.
This is James Suckling, isn't it, that we're having a look at? What's gone on here into the final corner? He did give the car at that head of that queue a little tap, but in the end, it only helped that car and not him. So
I think he assumed the Swede speed was going to stay on the right on the racing line, so he could move left to overtake. But it looked like the Swede speed moved left to either try and get out of the way or to defend.
Now I see that as a change for second, isn't it? So in the dark blue and yellow,
sorry. They're fighting for position.
Yeah, that's a change. So that's Bell's gone through in the dark blue yellow car on screen. Suckling is now dropped to third in class. That's not going to worry him championship-wise, but I tell you what, that's great driving from Bell. When you look down at the championship, 13th in class, and he's battling away with someone who's been almost unbeatable this season.
Yeah, sorry. So the blue flags are out, and that threw me off, thinking that the Swede speed was a lap down, but it's the white Ferrari further up ahead. That's who the blue flags are for. So James Suckling is fighting with the Swede speed, Julian Bell, and Rudolf Stein. So Stein's further ahead. It's Alex Parkin there in a Bentley that does need to move over. He is out of place, so it is his blue flag. He needs to be getting out of the way of these two, who are fighting for position now. As James Suckling on the inside for the kink at 20, he's going to be outside for the corner 21. He manages to keep it around the outside, but the Swede speed stays ahead. It's sort of like an IKEA car, isn't it? The colours of it makes me think of my IKEA bag in the back of my car. Great battle between these two drivers.
Yeah, no, Rudolf Stein's well clear of this. So with 12 minutes on the clock, as you can see at the top of screen, this is a battle for second and no more unless Rudolf Stein goes and bins it. So Suckling will know that. Again, they're going to be in the tow of this Bentley, the number 30, coming down the start-finish straight. That's one of our back markers. And this time, Julian Bell is going to get through. James Suckling is also going to get through as well. No, okay, so that's bad news here for James Suckling.
He's flashing his lights as well. Julian Bell flashed his lights, and now James Suckling was flashing his lights. And we generally have a rule against such a thing, but I think in these circumstances, I can understand why they're doing it. It's very frustrating when a driver just doesn't move out the way. And as I said, like a couple of weeks ago, I was lapped. We were at Imola. It was very easy to come out the hairpin and just move over to the left as I climbed up the hill.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it got out of the way in the end, but a corner too late, in my opinion. This is Dirk Botha behind. That's who was he behind there? He was behind Alex Depper, wasn't he? So that's Depper who is leading the way.
Yeah, so these two aren't
in Am.
fighting for position points-wise. Position on track, yes, but points-wise, no. So Alex Depper doesn't need to fight at all with Dirk Botha, so
No.
just let him by. Although when you're driving and you've got a sort of a million things going on in your head, don't hit that wall, hit that braking point, change down gear now, because they're all driving manual gears, whether it be a stick shift to the side or paddles on their wheel. The simplest, you can't see the wood for the trees. The simplest thing of, oh yeah, I better move over because I don't technically need to race this person behind me, doesn't always come to mind as quickly as it should. And he won't be getting blue flags.
No, you're correct. It's four position. This, isn't it? Unlike the other where it was a car being lapped. So, but yeah, if I'm Alex Depper, I'd just move aside. He's not going to lose any points, is he? Now this is fight for fourth in Am class. Sam Roughton and Medina.
That is right. Yeah, everybody's made their pit stop, so there's no Am driver that's miles up the road that actually still needs to pit. Whoa, Sam Roughton, I thought he went a little bit skew-if there, a bit of a wavy line through, but kept it under control, didn't hit the wall or anything. So Sam Roughton's in the red. We've got Medina in this. We're riding on board. Looking back, great shots. Oh, and Dave Zalecki there facing the wrong way. You said ooh before that happened.
Now Roughton binned it there, 100%. I mean,
oh,
it looked like he was going stage right straight into the wall. What happened here then? This is Zalecki, right? We're looking at.
Oh, just
there you go. Too much speed and.
Oh, what a place to. Oh, and he clipped that wall. Just foot on the brake, handbrake, keep it parked, stay predictable, let everybody else go round you.
Nice.
I know he smacked the wall, but
nice spin round.
I know he smacked the wall, but that was the quickest thing, in all honesty, for him to do, rather than, engage reverse, back out on across the track again. So it looked messy, but it got the job done. As Johnny Ashley's pulled over to the side now. What's happened here?
Quickly on Roughton, he would have lost a second there, so he got away with it. It looked like he was about to spin. I think we're going to find out what happened to Ashley, though, Cammy.
So Johnny Ashley, he looked like he was on the outside there through Quarry, and he got a tap from that Ferrari. He's not lapping him. I'm not seeing any blue flag. Yes, I am. There's a blue flag. So this Ferrari, yeah, this is the one that needs lapping now. Still with sweet speed behind. Johnny Ashley, we haven't got the driver ladder up during the replay. The replays are quite long, so it does take us a while to get to sort of the climax.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, just a smack of the wall there. Did you giggle after I said climax? Oh, and he's just taken a... Oh. Yeah, so these cars, they say they're heavy beasts. The weight shifts left and right, front to back, as, that's half the challenge of setting the cars up. And he just got one wheel on the curb. It unsettled the entire car and just flung him to the left. And, yeah, the car's likely uncontrollable after such an impact.
Yeah, that tap on the wall definitely didn't help before, didn't it? So, this is Sam Roughton now after that big moment into here, wasn't it? Looked like he was going straight for the wall.
No damage. Oh, Medina in front did go for the wall, just as you said that.
And that means Roughton's going to take the place.
7 minutes to go as well. 8 minutes to go. Sorry, just under 8 minutes to go. And that could be damage that, you don't want to put... And now they're going to be lapped as well by Mansi, who's coming through.
But this is a back, isn't it, from Medina to the right of screen. So he's going to have the part of the chase. But then the inside, if he can get it stopped nice and comfortably on the brakes. No, Roughton's going to hold on round the outside. So good driving there from Roughton, but disappointing from Medina there to lose that place with a mistake.
These races do separate the esport drivers from the gamers, I think. Who can maintain that level of concentration through the whole 45 minutes. It's one thing to have a 5-lap race on a PlayStation 4 with your joypad for 5 laps. It's a very different kettle of fish when you're doing it for 45 minutes against 35 or so of the, some of the world's best drivers. Just because we're not televised or showing to 100,000 people, doesn't take anything away from the skill of some of these drivers.
This is a good battle now, isn't it? This is Van Oosenen has been caught here by Bell and Suckling, and this is going to be a fight for second, which could go to the flag in the silver class. So this is going to be a very interesting one to watch. Julian Bell right in the middle of this. So he's got no option here, can he? Surely he's got to go on the attack now. He can't really, if he doesn't make a move, Suckling, who we're on board with, is going to make a move on him. So he's going to be forced into a very quick overtake here, I think.
Yeah. And we've got a car coming out the pits as well, just to add to the gaggle. So blue flag's going again. So we've got the Bentley in 10th place. That's Van Oosenen. The great thing, they've got little digital readouts on the windscreens that gives you the position of the car, and it gives you sort of the first 3 letters of their name or their nickname that they've inputted into the game. They're all making it through the quarry. You're just making those noises for excitement.
I thought there was a move coming there. It looked like a lunge, but no, scare tactics possibly.
I think with 5 minutes to go, you just hold tight until you know it's the last lap, and then you go, right, I'm just going to do it. A do or die attack now. And if you're in a position where it's like, I need those points or I'm out of the running for the championship, I'll go for it now and put it all on the line. And I either win everything or I lose everything and go out in a blaze of glory.
We've still got, oh no.
Oh, no.
So who's on the computer now? We can see who's on the side of
They've
that.
got a necklace. They don't have hair. It's not Steve Jobs.
Well, he could be on the front of the car. It's quite bad that we're not actually talking about the fact they spun. Jacques Morel has spun.
Just credit to the livery he's designed that's got us talking about that instead. As we're back with this battle now, with riding on board with James Suckling in. I always like to mention this, that it's a Red Bull BMW, but have you noticed the character on the roof?
No, I haven't.
If you follow the Sonic the Hedgehog game series at all, he's put Shadow the Hedgehog on the top of his car, which I think is like a dark and edgy version of Sonic.
Nice.
I'm going to embarrass now if it's not his car and is actually one of the other Red Bull BMWs. But it looks like he's made that move stick through the chase. A very neat and tidy overtaking maneuver there on the Swede. But the Swede's not going to take that down as Dirk Boffa is pointing across the track in a very dangerous place.
Right, what happened here then? So he's in the mid. He's been tapped round.
Oh, he's just come out the cutting. Was he tapped by Seville?
Yeah, he was tapped by that. Yeah, well, driver slowed up. That's Seville. Yeah, he slowed up to almost try and let him go back through, but yeah, there's no way he's getting back through. That's a real shame for Dirk Boffa, because he was having a pretty good day overall.
Oh, now cars don't know. They come through that blind corner and bonk. It's the Austin Powers scene with the little buggy in the first Austin Powers scene where he's trying to turn it round in a corridor.
That's a real shame, isn't it?
Did he just tow back to the pits with 3 minutes to go?
I think so.
That's heartbreaking.
So. We've got 2 podium fights going on here, one in pro, one in silver. So going to be a good end to the races, but this is a big battle going on a little bit further back, isn't it? This is for 21st place. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miles Dixon is just trying to make his way through lap traffic as they're all fighting for position amongst each other, and he's flashing his lights there, you see. And again, he's just saying they're not doing it to be aggressive sometimes. It's just I need something to catch their attention, so they realize, I'm the car behind. You can sort of get a bit blind to that sort of thing, a bit tunnel visioned when you just you just want to finish the race, understandably.
I'm going to ask Dan to just check in with that 3rd place battle in the pro, see where we are, because I think it was you were mentioning, Cammy, just you'd wait to the end here if you're Shahabi. So is that what's going on here, do you think? Do you think this is Shahabi just staying put, or is he literally just holding on to Mansi here because of pure pace from Mansi?
A little from column A, a little from column B. I think, Jimmy Mansi's a phenomenally talented driver, but there's no point overtaking now just for Mansi to take you back on the final corner or so, as it were. As Alex Shahabi gets very wide, brushes with the wall. Somebody in the chat earlier did say you haven't been to Bathurst unless you've left some paint on the walls. So Alex Shahabi has done just that. As we're back with Sam Roughton, who is running in 3rd place in the AM class and would like to keep it that way. He's cleared Medina, who did damage their Mercedes AMG with a with a sort of clip of the wall when they were down at the Dipper, and say we go from Dipper to Depper, as Alex Depper is running comfortably in second place in the Lamborghini. And what happened there? Oh, I think he was moving out the way. Was he moving out the way?
Let's find out. I think he's run wide here. There's no one to get out of the way of now. We've gone back to the replay that we can see that's not the case. We've seen this, what, 2 or 3 times already, running wide through this corner. Is that what we're going to see? Dropping a wheel on. Oh, no, so it was turning in.
He clips the inner curb.
Yeah. Wow, we haven't seen that one yet.
Now, there's a saying, or maybe I made it up, but don't win harder than you have to. He's already in third position. He's already got a podium.
Yeah. Okay,
he's got a good bit of... He's got a gap to the next car. You know, Medina was several seconds behind. Medina's now caught up and is only 1.5 seconds behind, but don't win harder than you have to. There's no point putting a fastest lap in if just cruising around comfortably will get you the same result. It's those situations where someone snatches a loss from the jaws of victory.
I like it. I like it. That's a good saying. Now, who is this we've got?
Oh, here we go. There's Shadow the Hedgehog on the top of the car.
Is there another reason we're seeing this? Is there been some contact here? So this is the 5th place battle, I think.
Miles Dixon's having a look up the inside. He knows there's like a minute or 2 to go. This is on Beeson.
Oh, nice.
So he's made the move and he's kept it on track. I thought he was going to go off there, like run too wide, but textbook.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only problem is you have the whole mountain straight there. Beeson there. That looked like a little tap, didn't it, going on? So I think this is the move again. You can talk us through it, Cammy.
Yeah, so Miles Dixon, we've come through Murray's corner, over the start-finish line, and coming up to corner 1, Hell Corner. And I'm wondering if Dylan Beeson's... He's going slowly, because you see back in the distance there is that black McLaren. I'm wondering if Dylan Beeson hasn't taken enough fuel on board and is having to sort of lift and coast now, because you think how far back Martin Thorpe goes past him. Look, he catches him up.
Yeah, good spot.
Easy overtake. And then coming out the cutting, that next McLaren was already right behind. So I think he's underfueled a little bit. And now he's forced to ease off the gas just to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah. It's like watching the end of a Formula E race, isn't it?
Oh, when they get an extra lap and they're at 1%.
Yeah. Are we getting towards the end of the race? I think we are.
It's already happened whilst we were watching replays. Jonathan Seville takes the victory. Yeah. Christian Kelly finishes home in 2nd place. He wasn't able to claw the gap back to Jonathan Seville, even with the sort of do what he doesn't in terms of pit stops. And we're going to look here. So this is Mansi following Alex Shahabi down the hill. So, as I said, Alex Shahabi left it to the last lap to make his move on Mansi. My prediction came true, but I think Mansi wasn't having any of it, and a do-or-die attack in the last corner. So they're coming down to the chase. Corners 20, 21, and 22. Mansi's looking up the inside. Alex firmly shuts the door and is lucky not to have been spun round, but he's a little bit offline. Mansi's come out of the 22 quicker. And is this just a do-or-die? It's a... Ooh. Okay, so I think it was just I think they just crashed into each other for fun after they got over the finish line.
Yeah,
I think that was I think that was just a bit of mucking about. But now I can't see the driver ladder, Dan. But yeah, Jonathan Seville takes the victory. So Chris, how was that for you with your sort of... I teased earlier. Sorry, Chris McCarthy is not a newbie. This wasn't his first commentary gig, as I'm sure you can all tell. He's an experienced master at this.
Oh, don't be silly. Yes, very good fun. I mean, yeah, I like the format of the championship's got a great format. I think it's great to see it being broadcast as well. You know, put together very well. But more importantly, the racing was really close all the way through in all 3 classes. Actually, there was some great new faces towards the front and some impressive wins in all the classes. So yeah, overall very entertaining racing. That's what you want on a Sunday evening.
And that lead commentator was brilliant. Oh, you're too kind to. Oh, thank you. You didn't have to. Oh, well.
Uh,
Dan, Dan, Dan. How about you? What highlights stand out for you?
Well, I think probably your prediction coming true of Shahabi getting that final podium spot on the last lap.
Oh,
So it was a good shout for you to make.
yeah, usually it ends up with commentators curse, but no, it works out quite well. And we've still got 41, 42 people viewing. So these numbers are going up each race.
It was kind of a commentator's curse, but the other way, I guess. If you were
Commentators' blessing.
if you were the driver ahead, it was definitely a curse.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get a few of our drivers as they'll make their way from the pits, maybe get themselves a drink on the way and join us up in the commentary booth, because we're absolutely in Australia and not at all doing this from offices, studies, and bedrooms. I think we have Jonathan Zaville. Jonathan, congratulations on your race victory here at Bathurst. Was it as easy as you made it look?
No, very difficult setup to drive. I'm sweating a bit. First thing I want to do is apologise to, is it Bofa, car 90? I don't know if you saw, I tapped him towards the end when lapping him, so just thought I'd apologise for him. But other than that, mostly uneventful, other than a tricky setup. So yeah.
Looked like you were in control of the entire race. You didn't put it was a Senna-like performance. You didn't put a foot wrong. You started from pole. You finished first. You made it look easy. It's your first race of the series, and we're pretty sure that puts you. We'll have to do the numbers, but we're pretty sure that puts you at the top of the drivers' standings, because some of your championship rivals, you might have noticed, were a little bit further down the pecking order, which must be making you grin a bit.
Yeah. Well, last two rounds have been a bit unfortunate. Well, I say unfortunate. Got the strategy completely wrong when having a good chance for the win. So yeah, it's nice to have a sunny race all the way through, and then I could maintain my lead. And yeah, I think I should be top of the championship now. So yeah, good.
Yeah, bloody well deserve it.
Thank you.
Chris, let you have questions for Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan. First of all, congratulations. Really, really good drive. I guess now that puts you at the head of the championship. Looking to next week, is Laguna Seca a track that you enjoy driving round? Are you glad that's come up last, or?
Not what I'd pick. It's okay. I wouldn't say there's better tracks, there's worse tracks. Yeah.
And I guess how does it feel now to get that first win of the season?
Yeah, great. Because it's felt overdue, especially after the last two rounds where
I told Chris about Alton Park.
Yeah. Well, it only rained for like 5 minutes there, so it was like, surely it should dry up. Surely it should dry up. It's not drying up. Oh God, dries and yeah.
No, well, you couldn't be in a better position now, coming off the back of a win, championship lead, going into the final round. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a cracking race.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a good position now, so hopefully I can maybe get another win in Laguna. Yeah, fine.
Good
Keep
stuff.
it
Well,
going.
well, best of luck for it, Jonathan, and well done again for this evening.
Thank you.
Before we move to Dixonhurst, Dan, is it possible to get the driver's ladder up on screen? I'm an amateur commentator. Chris is a pro commentator, but we can't remember where all 35 drivers finished, unfortunately. And we should have 3 winners in the commentary booth, so we are missing somebody. But Chris, I'll let you lead with Dixonhurst.
Oh, first, I guess Dixon first. Well, it's great to have you joining us. How was that one for you then?
I was a little dodgy at the start there. Got bounced around a bit like a pinball, but luckily all the damage was to the side of the car. So I was still able to keep the speed, and that V12 is just a beast on the straights. So it really came in handy for that stuff.
Yeah, how is it start of a race round Bathurst? I mean, it must be pretty terrifying.
Yeah, pretty much just the most stressful time ever, really.
Did the was sort of better than what you expected? Do you think it suited the Aston Martin this track? Was it one you were looking forward to in particular?
Yeah, there's only a couple of corners where it's a little dicey, but for the most part, it's a pretty forgiving car to take around here. It's just the walls really will eat you alive if you get things wrong. So that's pretty even with everybody else, I think.
And I guess in that battle for third in the championship, it was very, very close coming into this. But I guess this round is worked out very well for you and could give you a bit of breathing space now going into the final round.
Yeah, not to give too much away, but yeah, Laguna Seca is not one of my favorite tracks, so I'll probably have to do a bit of work to kind of get that car under control through there, especially the corkscrew and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a good fight for the next race here. So I'm looking forward to it.
I guess it will be a nothing to lose approach going into that one as well.
Well, I guess. I mean, it was third place
Yeah,
overall.
yeah.
So,
But I guess you'll want to go out on a high though. Yeah,
oh yeah, and especially the first time in this league, I don't want to make I want to make friends, right? So
good stuff. Good stuff. Well, congratulations.
thanks a lot.
Now we'll move over to our silver class winner, Rudolf Stein, who Rudolf Stein is at the moment, he was 15th in the championship standings in class, but he's at the bottom of the table, but took the win at Bathurst. Rudolf Stein, congratulations. You must be elated.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. Usually my luck at Bathurst is not the best, so I just kept it clean and did a good pit stop. I decided not to repair some of the minor damage and then save another 5 seconds on that. So yeah, it was just keep it clean, keep the braking points, make the turn-ins, and yeah, just focus. That's all. Didn't take any chances. Yeah.
Were there any nasty surprises for you when we had a few spinners in the race, and obviously up in the mountain, they're all generally blind corners. Did you turn any corner and suddenly find a car facing sideways?
No, it was all
Lucky
clean.
you.
Yeah. No, that worked out well for me. Yeah.
Is Bathurst, is it a favorite track of yours, or you sounded almost quite surprised that it worked out for you in the end?
Oh, yeah, I like it a lot. Yes, it's one of my favorite tracks, but it's just a moment of lack of concentration, and then boom, you're in the wall. So the last 15 minutes, I just didn't try to go fast. I just tried to keep it on the track and keep it clean.
He won by trying not to go fast. Chris, over to you.
Yeah, I guess that's always a good approach around here, isn't it? How tough is it, though, Rudolph, doing a long race like that one round this circuit without making any mistakes? Was it something that you practiced doing long stints?
Yeah, I like long races, and this BMW is very, very well suited for this track. It's really well suited for the track. I was the first time I went into practice earlier this week. I was just happy because especially through that first downhill section, that first few S's, some of the cars with the engine in the rear is a little bit more dicey, so you have to be more careful. This one you can just throw it in and it just sticks. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, a fantastic result. As Camby said, given your championship position to get a win, I'm sure now it's going to give you a lot of confidence going into the final round at Laguna Seca. To it.
Yeah, I was in the Kailami. I was involved in an unfortunate accident, and I was punted out of position number 2. And then in Barcelona, I just did a bad race. It was just disastrous for me. And then the next one at Suzuka, I was in a first lap incident, also punted out of position 2. So I was just trying this time to try and keep it clean and try and stay out of trouble. And then last week I missed because we had visitors, so I missed one race as well. So So it is okay. I'm just going for it. I don't even know where I am in the championship. I just heard, okay, obviously I was 15 with one race missing. There's not much chance of climbing into the ranks. Yeah.
So
But
I guess next week you got a chance to try and go for it again. But I guess for you, you've now proven that you can win races, and that's got to be a positive not only for the last round, but going forward
yeah,
into another
yeah,
season as well.
yeah, that's for sure.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations again, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as Chris was saying, yep, our next round, Laguna Seca, is on the 27th of February. So, in 1 week's time. And that is a double length race, and double points are on offer. So, that will it could sort of throw a spanner or be a driver's golden ticket, even sort of get out of jail card in terms of, well, I've had a bit of a weekend at Bathurst, but I can double up on points. So, could see some surprise moves in the free championship standings, Chris.
I mean, a 45-minute race is tough enough, but a 90-minute one, that's going to be incredibly difficult. Laguna Seca isn't a particularly easy circuit as